Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video on the West Ham Way YouTube channel. You've got a very hungover Riley Finch in front of you, a very tired Riley Finch as well. I probably look an absolute state right now. Some of you know my birthday yesterday, so I went out and I had work at 6 a.m. this morning. So I've just come back from work, and now I'm wanting to get some news through, some breaking news. Obviously, the West Ham news never does sleep, unlike me, more like the same as me, actually. But anyway, so Nayef Aguerd, the Saudi Pro League, their window shuts on the 7th of September. As of recording this, it's the 5th of September. As we know, they've made quite a few moves in the transfer window. Sort of reminds me of the MLS when they first started out. Signing all these different players like late into the window and trying it. But I mean, it's a little bit different because I think the MLS tried to sign top talent that had kind of gone to the end of their career. Whereas Saudi are signing players like Ruben Neves, who obviously 26 years old, kind of in the prime of their career. Neymar, they've signed quite a lot of players, and they are trying to lure Mo Salah apparently for around £210 million. So the Saudi Pro League has the cash to splash, and like I said, their window closes on the 7th of September. Why am I talking about this? Why does this involve West Ham? Well, our defender Nayef Aguerd has been linked with a move to, I believe, is Al Ittihad. So apparently, as of today, they're going to be making a late offer for him. Sky Cava, or Cava at Sky Cava, who's a very good reporter, very reliable source for Sky, said that Al Ittihad are trying to make a late move for West Ham centre back Nayef Aguerd. No bid has been made yet, and the Hammers say the player is not for sale now. That is very true. The player is definitely not for sale. We would not be able to get a replacement in, obviously, unless we sort of went through the free transfer market, which I don't believe we would do. Yes, we saw Mavropanos, but he is thought to be, an extra. It's not thought that we would sell Aguerd. I spoke to Mark prior to recording, and he said that the club stance is that they are not going to sell the player. He is not for sale. One report that came out is that apparently Aguerd could earn 10 times his current wages if he accepted Al Ittihad's offer. The important thing for me is not whether West Ham want the move or not. Part of me thinks, does Nayef want the move? Does Aguerd, if he was given the choice, would he move to Saudi Arabia? And apparently, according to at Foot Mercato, which is a French football media page, apparently Nayef Aguerd has turned down the move himself before West Ham have even had a chance to turn it down. So I think that's really, really positive, to be fair. Obviously, Mikel Antonio is someone that I think, again, potentially might, be someone that's linked with in the coming days of this window. Obviously, I don't think we would let him go. We don't have a striker to replace him. We wanted to sign a striker. It make no sense now that we can't sign one to let essentially our starting striker and one of our most informed players leave the club. That would just make absolutely zero sense. So I highly doubt David Moyes would do it. But Mikel Antonio has had Saudi interest, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do in the coming days put a late offer in for him. Another interesting bit of Saudi news that came out was that supposedly Jesse Lingard has had 2 offers from Saudi clubs. Now, that to me is very interesting because I think that really does show where Jesse's head's at. I think I don't even think he should be negotiating with these clubs unless he's sat like turning around straight away and saying, no, listen, I'm waiting on West Ham. I'm training with West Ham. I want to join West Ham. Offer me what you want, but, I'm not going to make the same mistake again. If he sits there and he does what he did last year, where he's like, well, hold on, I've been negotiating with another club here and they're offering me this amount of money. Why are you offering me less than that sort of amount? If he's going to do that, then I think we just need to move on from him. Hopefully, though, because, like I said, as much as my ego does not want him to come back, because it's a little bit when you get like burned by an ex, like you date someone for a while and or maybe you're in a talking stage with somebody and they choose somebody else. They said they were going to choose you, they choose somebody else, then they break up with that partner and then they come straight back and they're like, oh, listen, I liked you at one point, it didn't work out with this guy, what do you reckon? Do you want to give it another go? And every bit of you wants to say, well, no, I don't want to be second best, I don't want to be second choice. Obviously, you haven't got any dedication, you haven't got any, loyalty to me. And then the part of you thinks, well, I did like you at one point, so let's give it a go. So it's kind of like that for me with Jesse. I think he's burnt us, he's mugged us off, he's made us look stupid, really. And then, you know, for him to do it again when he's been training with the first team, and I think that would actually be quite, you know, quite bad. You know, if we've allowed him to train with the first team to keep up his fitness, if we welcomed him with open arms back into the West Ham camp, if we've actually said to him, do you know what, you might actually be able to earn a move here when realistically he probably shouldn't, and then he turns around and says, actually, you know, I'm going to Saudi Arabia, I just think that'd be just completely disingenuous, and you know, it would just be horrible. I think it would just mug us off and just make us look stupid. But you know, going back to the original point, of course, because you know, whenever someone mentions Jesse Lingard, I'm obviously going to go on a tangent about it. The Saudi Arabian transfer market is open for at least another 2 days. It is thought that they're going to send a bid through. How much it's going to be, I'm not sure. Apparently, Nayef Aguerd has turned the move down. That's point number one. He doesn't want to move to Saudi Arabia. He's turned it down himself. And apparently West Ham, under no circumstances, will sell him. He's a starting centre-back. I think he's got a great character, great leadership on the pitch. Obviously, again, with James Ward-Prowse at the club, he's going to be a huge asset from set pieces. You know, you saw that goal against Chelsea when he leapt high into the air and scored the first goal for us there. So I think he's going to be a set-piece marvel. I think he's brilliant on the ball. I think as well, he's very good defensively. I think he's also got like a good atmosphere in the squad. Like I think he's quite a good player to have in the changing room. So, you know, I don't think we should sell him under any circumstances. But I mean, he's also quite young, actually, to be fair. So he's got a lot to grow into. But the thing for me is, you know, money does talk. You know, if Saudi came in for an incredible offer around like, if they offered like £50 million, I mean, can you really turn that down? £50 million for a player you pay £30 million for? You got £50 million to then sign a decent centre back. You have got Mavropanos coming in. You have got Tilo Kehrer, Ogbonna. Yeah, it will leave us a little bit short, but you know, you get to invest that in January, £50 million. I'm not saying, you know, that's the figure that it's going to be, but you know, if they're going to chuck crazy money at us, which in my eyes, if we paid 30 million for him, we don't want to sell him, it's going to have to be within the 50, 60 million region for us to even consider it. But you know, if they're already offering again 10 times his wage, which I'm not sure if that's 100% true. I mean, that's, you know, again, this is just stuff we're hearing from media outlets. Nothing's been confirmed as of yet. But, you know, if he can earn 10 times what he's currently on, which, I mean, I would imagine he's probably on around, you know, 50 to 80K. So, you know, we're talking 500,000 to 800,000 pounds a week, potentially. They're willing to offer him those sorts of wages. I can imagine them offering a pretty big, you know, some money lump transfer to actually get him to come over. So, unfortunately, look, money does talk. West Ham were pretty upfront about not wanting to sell Paqueta to the point where we wanted around like £95 million for him. So, you know, I can imagine us pricing the Saudis out of a move for him. But the issue is they can pay it. You know, they can put the money where their mouth is, and that's the issue. But, you know, the positives to take away from this video, of course, is, again, it's been offered apparently 10 times his wages and has actually turned down the offer and wants to stay at West Ham. And West Ham have said that this player, who I think is mightily important, and I think everyone else thinks is important too, is not for sale and is not going to be leaving the club. So the Saudi, you know, even though the Premier League transfer window is ended, there's still going to be a bit of drama. 2 more days of it, I think. Again, Mikel Antonio and again are probably the main people to keep an eye on, but I really, really don't see them being sold, especially when we can't get a replacement in.